friends, and welcome to another week of Bible stories on here. I'm so glad that you guys decided to join me this week, and I hope you had an awesome week with school, with your friends and family, and I'm so excited to get this story started. So, this whole month, we are learning about how to live with responsibility. Responsibility is showing that you can be trusted with what is expected of you. There are a lot of different things that other people expect of us, isn't there? If we can show them that we are responsible, then they'll know that they can trust us with anything. That's why it's important for us to have some good rules for life that will help us play well and finish strong. So today's Bible story comes from the book of Luke, chapter 12. And I'm not going to read word for word what it says in chapter 12. I'm going to read some of the Bible verses, but I'm also going to put the story into my own words. But I do encourage you guys to go back this week with your family, your siblings, your grandparents, whoever they are, and read through chapter 12 in the book of Luke. When Jesus was on earth, he went around teaching and performing miracles. Crowds would follow him everywhere that he went, and they listened, they watched, and they asked him questions. One day, a man spoke up and told Jesus about a problem that he was having with his brother. We're going to read in Luke chapter 12, verse 13. He said, "Teacher," he said, "tell my brother to divide the family property with me." Jesus could tell that the man just wanted more stuff for himself. So let's hear how Jesus replied. This is going to be in chapter 12, verse 14 and 15. Jesus replied, "Friend, who made me a judge or an umpire between you?" Then he said to them, "Watch out. Be on your guard against wanting to have more and more things. Life is not made up of how much a person has." Then Jesus went on to do what Jesus always did with his teaching his followers. He told a story to help them understand. In Jesus' story, there was a rich man, and he was growing a crop on his land. Maybe it was corn. This rich man's lands produced a large crop, and I'm talking big, big. I should probably mention that the rich man did have barns to store all his crops in. But as I mentioned before, the lands produced a large crop. Soon, the man didn't have enough room to store it all. The rich man thought of a plan. Check it out. We're going to read in Luke chapter 12, verse 18 and 19. He said, "This is what I'll do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones. I will store my extra grain in them. I'll say to myself, you have plenty of grain stored away for many years. Take life easy. Eat, drink, and have a good time." Yep. The man decided to tear down the barns that he did have so that he could build even bigger ones to store the extra grain. It seems like the rich man had a pretty sweet setup for himself. But not so fast. Listen to what happened next in Jesus' story. We're going to read verse 20. God said to him, "You foolish man, tonight I will take your life away from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself?" The rich man chose to focus on only what he could keep for himself. There was so much that he could have done with what he had been given, but instead he tried to keep it all. But Jesus' story wasn't just about the one man. Listen to how he ended this story to the gathered crowd. He said in verse 21, "That is how it will be for whoever stores things away for themselves, but is not rich in the sight of God." In other words, we shouldn't try to keep everything for ourselves. We can choose to live God's way instead. We can be generous and willing to share. Remember the man who asked Jesus to tell his brother to divide the family property? He was the one that prompted Jesus' story in the first place. Well, this account of Jesus' teaching in Luke 12 ends there. So we don't actually know how the man responded. Maybe he stopped worrying about getting more of his family stuff. Maybe he thought more about sharing what he did have with his brother. While we don't know what the man said or did next, we do know what we should do after hearing this story. It's a great rule for life. Share what you have. After all, everything that we have comes from God, and we should be willing to share it with others. Let's go ahead and close in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for always providing for us and always loving us, Lord. Thank you for everything that you do, God, and please bless these wonderful families, those who are watching and those who are not watching, Lord. Please put your hand of protection over them throughout this week, God, and just let them have an awesome week, Lord. Thank you for everything that you do and for always loving us. In God's name we pray, amen. Thank you guys for watching another Bible Stories on here, and I hope to see you guys at Kids Worship today. Bye!